What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I want to do something a little bit different today. First off, I'm going to address Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He wants to see that the Senate take up the votes of the upcoming infrastructure packages, and this includes both the social infrastructure and the real infrastructure, or the American Jobs Plan. Now, I want to break this down because what he is actually saying at this time, for one, it's good news, but on the other hand, it's bad news because this is putting Democrats in a very tense bind, and they're having a struggle or having a very tough time at this point trying to negotiate this deal. So I want to break down what's happening there. We're also going to talk about how President Biden canceled already $3 billion in student loans. This is just from, small little cancellations here and there, and kind of address what is going on there. And I want to talk about the Capitol Police, talk about Republicans and their immigration proposal, and how Americans keep getting scammed by phone calls. So we're going to address all that in today's video. First, I want to go over what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying right now. Well, here's what he's saying. First off, Senator Schumer, he wants the Senate to vote on Biden's domestic agenda, and he wants to do this soon. One of the things I can tell you at this time, okay, and he says in a letter to colleagues, he says, stand ready to expeditiously fill any potential vacancies on the Supreme Court should they arise. He also addressed things like he wants to just get things done as quickly as possible. He wants to, and you can see it right here, please be advised that time is of the essence and we have a lot of work to do. Senators should be prepared for the possibility of working long nights, weekends, and remaining in Washington into the previously scheduled August state work period. Now, I bring this up for one main reason. The reason why I bring this up is actually because right now, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he understands how much work needs to be done in the Senate. The problem is the Senate is being tied to the House. Now, they're always tied to the House, but here's the issue. Right now, Nancy Pelosi is saying if the Senate doesn't pass the Democrat-only budget reconciliation bill, then the House is not going to put the bipartisan bill on the floor. But the issue there is if the bipartisan bill doesn't get passed, then Democrats don't know what to put in the Democrat-only budget reconciliation. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Well, this is, according to reports, one of the reasons why President Biden keeps on canceling more and more student loans, because he is just trying to get away with, well, not really get away, but trying to satisfy the American people. But at the same time, what is actually happening is these loans, they're actually going to now defunct, well, in this case, he's taking out these, getting rid of these loans from these now defunct ITT Technical Institute. That is just one of them, right? But this is billions and billions of dollars in funding. This is more and more money that the American people can now use to help stimulate the economy, pay off bills, and do a bunch of other things. But what we are hearing at this time is one of the reasons why President Biden keeps on doing this is actually just to buy time. That's really it. We know that right now it would be a huge benefit to many families and many individuals to just completely wipe away their student loans. The problem is President Biden, he understands that he has the ability to cancel up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness, but the problem is he doesn't want to do that yet. This is one of those kind of trump cards, which is kind of odd to say, but it's one of those trump cards that President Biden is holding, and he's going to keep this in his pocket for as long as possible because he knows if some Democrats don't want to go with his agenda, his framework, all he has to do is be like, oh, well, you want to get student loan forgiveness included? Well, all right, you vote on my bill, you vote on my framework, you support that, and I'll toss in up to $10,000 in student loans, at least forgiveness. But at this time, we're also looking into maybe we don't see student loan forgiveness, but we see a more of a long-term pause, possibly all the way through 2021, and where we see the student loan forgiveness or the student loan payments actually start up again sometime in January or February of 2022. But some lawmakers are even looking at, well, if we don't see student loan forgiveness quickly, why don't we just forgive it for the next year and we will revisit this sometime in 2022, potentially after the midterm elections. So some are saying and thinking like, you know what, we might not get this all done. Let's just go ahead and pass what we can, come to an agreement, and we can work on that. Well, that's just one other issue. Again, we're still working on stimulus checks, and this is something that progressives want to get passed, but the problem right now is a lot of people don't. A lot of people say, well, whoa, let's hold off, let's wait. Let's see what else lawmakers want to propose. Let's see what else the American people need. And when it comes time to potentially passing this, we can do that then. But in the meantime, let's just hold up, let's wait, and let's try to figure this out together. Well, speaking of figuring out something, here's something else I want to show you. We are now seeing reports that the Capitol Police salary funds are running low, and they want to replenish this bill, or the replenishment bill is actually stalled in Congress. Well, here's what I can tell you. At this time, Capitol Police, this is what's happening because they are saying, and this is Senator Leahy is saying that we did not budget for an insurrection. So because of that, they don't have the money. But here's what I think is interesting. Because of all of this stuff that's going on, the funds are actually drying up. And there is a potential issue on the horizon because some are saying right now, if Congress doesn't pass a bill to provide additional funds to them, there are expected furloughs to happen. Well, Nancy Pelosi, she wants to get the Capitol Police fully funded, right? But the problem is they would have to then throw in this additional legislation into the infrastructure package, potentially that bipartisan one. Well, it's not going to happen. Republicans are not going to go for providing more funding to the Capitol Police. They're not going to do that at this time. But Democrats have that reconciliation card. They can use that. Well, the problem now is, okay, do we have the funding? Do we have the, a way to pay for this bill, pay for additional funding for the Capitol Police? Well, some say yes, we do. Others say no, we don't. The problem right now is that too many people are trying to figure out how to pay for their own pieces of legislation, their own plans. The problem is there's not a list of, okay, we need to pass this, this, and this, and this. And it's going to cost this much money, and so on. And we are going to figure out how to pay for that. No, what is happening at this time is, all right, we have this plan, and this plan. Let's figure out how to pay for, we're going to figure out, okay, we're going to add it all up. 250 billion, 300 billion, 400 billion, whatever. Add it all up and let's figure out a way to pay for it. Perfect. Then the problem is, oh, well, we forgot about this. We forgot about that. Well, that leads me into the next thing. What I can tell you right now, and this is actually coming from the Hill earlier today, or actually yesterday, Republicans, their immigration proposal falls flat. Now, I want to bring this to you because of one thing. Now, this is actually coming from Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis. This was actually proposed this past week. What I can tell you is from this bill, okay, what we are seeing right now is that Democrats like the idea that Republicans are coming forward with an immigration proposal. That's great news, right? Here's the issue. Democrats don't want to come forward and support a Republican proposal at this time because they say that they are trying to pass their own legislation, their own proposal, to get that passed first. And if they cannot get their plan through the Senate parliamentarian for whatever reason, then they will go and reconsider the Republican proposal. But until then, they're going to go at this in a democratic manner. So what I can tell you at this point is some are saying that we could potentially see more and more talks on immigration. We know the talks on climate change are going to be there. That is a huge one. But we keep adding more and more policies. Again, like I was saying, the Capitol Police, the funding for Capitol Police, that's a big one, right? The Capitol Police, they need funding. If Nancy Pelosi wants to stay safe, right? If all of Congress wants to stay safe, they need Capitol Police, right? That's what experts say. Now, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how much money they need. I don't know exactly what they are fighting for, what the negotiations have been so far. But what I can tell you is they are working on it. They're trying to get more money for the Capitol Police. Even Leahy says, I am committed to moving a bill in the Senate to address these important needs. I'll pull that up so you can see it. I'm committed to moving a bill in the Senate to address these important needs and prevent this self-made crisis. It must be done without intervention. The department will deplete salaries funds by early August. That is a huge issue. We are at July 11th today. So in early August, in 1 month, the Capitol Police could be without funds for their salaries in 1 month, and yet lawmakers want to try to stay safe. Well, here's something, and I just want to ask you this. You can just be open, be honest, whatever you think, but let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen if if lawmakers decide to go on recess for August? Again, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying that the Senate, he might require the Senate to stay in Washington past their August recess. It could be delayed. It could be postponed, a couple days, maybe a couple weeks. Who knows? Maybe the entire thing just gets completely canceled. But what do you think happens if lawmakers decide, you know what? We've worked hard this year. Let's go on recess. They go on recess. And what do you think happens when they come back to Capitol Hill in September? Do you think the American people are satisfied? Do you think they're happy? Probably not. And so what happens then? Well, we could potentially see more people storm the Capitol. Maybe not the building. Maybe they go outside and protest. Who knows? But maybe things turn into a little ugly scenario, kind of like January 6th, right? Stuff like that could happen. We just don't know. So what I can tell you at this point is providing funding to the Capitol Police is something that is, I think it's a safety issue, and Nancy Pelosi is probably going to push for this. We'll probably hear more about this week. The Republican proposal for immigration, I think this is going to kickstart things up a little bit. I think we could potentially see some type of bipartisanship on this. Again, I think there's a small chance that could happen, but it could happen. I think that would be beneficial for Democrats. I don't know. Again, and it depends on the verbiage as well. But I don't know if immigration, I don't know if that can be included into a Democrat-only budget reconciliation. I think that would actually get pulled out through the Senate parliamentarians. So there's a lot of issues happening right now. But what I can tell you is it's very interesting to see kind of how lawmakers move forward. Take a couple steps forward, take a few steps back, right? And that's what we keep seeing is, all right, we're getting closer and closer to an agreement, and no, we're farther away. We're getting closer and closer to an agreement, and no, we forgot immigration. Pull back. Oh, we're getting so close to an agreement. But then it's like, well, we forgot stimulus checks. We forgot other assistance, direct payments to the American people, whether it's a stimulus check, addressing unemployment and the current concerns there. There's still a lot of concerns there. Some are saying that these concerns are not going to go away, and these concerns, the American people not having money to pay for food, pay for their rent, and actually contribute to the economy, that could be detrimental. And so some lawmakers say, and many economists say, additional assistance has to be looked into. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to pass it, but it needs to be looked into. But again, we will see what happens. Now, I want to bring you this other story because Americans are getting scammed out of money, and it's through phone calls. And here's something I want to address. Now, this was actually a story from CNBC, but Americans lost $29.8 billion to phone scams alone over the past year. It says here, nearly 1 in 3 Americans say they've fallen victim to a phone scam in the past year, like the ones where someone calls pretending to be from the IRS or from a company inquiring about an expiring warranty on your vehicle. Now, here's something I want to address. One of the things that I've seen a lot of people get targeted over, first was stimulus checks. The IRS was never going to call you. And again, this is something that's still happening today. I bring this up because last night or the night before, I read a comment from one of you guys here in the community. And again, thank you guys for the comments. I absolutely love them. I try to comment as much as I can. Sorry if I don't get to your comment every single time. But here's something I want to address. Somebody in the comments stated that they were scammed out of $50. Exactly $50. And here's the reason why. And I want to bring this up because this is something that we're seeing happening. We are seeing scammers call just different phones. And again, it's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers in this case. What they do is they call just, a bunch of random people, and to try to get you on the phone and talk to you about, oh, yes, this is Jacob from the IRS. I'm just calling because I noticed that you have a tax return that is still pending. And what they try to do, and again, I'm not going to go word for word on how the scam goes or whatever, and I'm not going to teach you all about it, but what happens is they try to get you on the phone and tell you, oh, well, yes, all we're doing is waiting because you owe just a $50 back charge. It's just a X amount of dollar back charge. That's it. And again, $50 is actually pretty low. According to this report from CNBC, it says right here, not only is the number of victims on the rise, the expense of these scams is also up. The average reported loss was about $502 per person, the highest amount on record since Truecaller began tracking this data in 2014, and up significantly from the average loss of $351 reported in 2020. So one of the things I can tell you is a lot of people are getting scammed. But again, some people are getting scammed because of, oh, I'm missing a stimulus check. Oh, okay, I can help you with that. Let me expedite that for you. That was months ago. Now we're not seeing that so much. Now what we're hearing is, oh, you got a pending tax return. Let me help you get that as soon as possible. Oh, yeah, it's just gonna cost you, $99. All right, perfect. Let me give you my credit card number. Let me give you my debit card. It's just simple things like this. Oh, you accept Bitcoin? Cool, I'll pay you with Bitcoin. No. People are not paying the IRS with Bitcoin. That's not what the IRS does. And I just want to address this and keep this in mind. There are still scammers out there trying to scam you on YouTube. It's not just on my channel. It's on every single finance channel out there. Okay? Now, one of the things they're going to do is they're going to send you a message using my face, using my name, and make it sound like I'm talking to you. That's not the case. You will see a check mark. Anytime I post a comment, you will see a little check mark next to it. That shows you that's me. That is verified. If it doesn't have a check mark, that is not me. So just keep in mind, there's people trying to scam you out of your hard-earned money. Do not let them scam you. Okay? So if you guys have any questions on any of this stuff, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But one thing I just want to leave you with is we are still getting reports on lawmakers want stimulus checks. Lawmakers want to see additional child tax credits. They want to see that extended. President Biden is a big believer, a firm believer in this. We also know lawmakers want to see Medicare get expanded as well. Some want to see the extension of the federal unemployment bonus, that $300 per week, plus unemployment for pandemic unemployment assistance, that's the PUA, for gig workers and long-term unemployment benefits like that. But again, these are just things we're hearing. But as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.